You're not addicted to scrolling. You're not addicted to bad food. The truth is, you're addicted to obedience. You're a slave, but you're a slave to the wrong things. When I went to the Holy Pilgrimage, it was a question that weighed heavy on my mind. This idea of slavery, this concept of being a slave to one's desires or being a slave to God, and being purposeful and being in line with your spirituality. Because every human has the capacity to be a slave. Slavery is something that throughout ancient history was prevalent amongst humans. So not only do you have the capacity in you to be a slave, but also it's very natural for you to find things to become a slave to. So there's a two-pronged approach. Number one, you have the ability to be a slave, meaning you have the ability to be completely obedient to one thing. And number two, there are already things in your life that you are obedient to. There are already things in your life that you are a slave to. Now ask yourself, what are you a slave to? Is it junk food? Is it scrolling? Is it bed rotting? Is it gooning and wanking? What is it? And ask yourself, what benefit does it provide you? Because this is the question I had to ask myself when I did the self-reflection. I said, there is no better thing to be a slave to than God. That is the purpose of man. And so I started my journey on creating my protocols and my endeavor to become the best slave possible. Now, the obedience part isn't hard because, like I said, you're someone who's committed. You're obedient to the bad programming that exists in your life right now. So you're probably obedient to the junk food. You're probably obedient to the porn. So ask yourself, how is it you got into this programming? How is it you acquired this obedience? And how can we reverse engineer that so that we're obedient to stuff that are more productive and in line with the way that God created man and also towards getting your dream life? So we need to strip back every desire. This is how it starts. Slavery in its essence is something that's very minimalist, right? Think of a slave. Does a slave have a big mansion? Does a slave have a fast car? And no, we need to start from absolute basics. And the slave has scarcity even in that. Even in food, shelter and clothing, the slave has scarcity, is in a lack of, right? And that's where I want us to start with. So protocol one is fasting, because fasting is a simulation of lack. We simulate this lack of food. We simulate this lack of the phone. We simulate not having, right? Because we live in the 21st century. We're lucky. We can be a slave to as many desires as we wish, as many as you can afford and time allows you. And that's the problem. Because you have so much options, you find yourself becoming a slave to many things. And it doesn't benefit you in any way. So we must start with removal. And this, again, ties in line with the Eastern philosophies that I love to research and study. There's so much power in subtraction. And so let's start with fasting. Protocol one is through fasting, through force, and through fire, you being able to conquer your urges, no longer being a victim to the signals that your brain sends out and you acting on impulse. This is you building your discipline. This is you freeing yourself from the chains of comfort. Sugar, porn, scrolling. We're not doing this just for aesthetics, boys. We're not doing this for a trend. You are rejecting comfort wholeheartedly. This is a lifestyle. This is something that you must start to build your tolerance and appetite for. It's a very acquired taste. And I'm going to start with a story to show you how rejecting comfort is very easy in theory and very hard to practice. It's easy to say I'm on this path of self-improvement, self-destruction, however you want to frame it. But when you put it into practice, actually you'll find there's so many little friction points that will hold you back from fulfilling your true purpose, from actually being a slave to God. Because the universe, the world, society, again, whatever label you choose, will want you as a slave to what serves the universe, the world, society best. Okay? So the big companies want you addicted to food, sugary foods. The entertainment industry wants you addicted to binge-watching TV shows. So you must ask yourself, why am I choosing to fast? Why am I choosing to reject comfort? Because if you don't have a solid enough reason, without the fire, it's hard to fast, okay? There must be a reason, something so deep in desire in your heart that allows you to choose this path. It won't be easy. And that's why, again, protocol 1 starts with eating the frog. It starts with doing the hardest thing, and it's fasting. For me, it was anyway. It's being able to refrain from certain things. That's fasting from women at times. That's fasting from music at times. That's fasting from social media at times. This idea of fasting doesn't need to only apply to food. This idea of abstaining is something we must become very accustomed to. The thing you want, the urge, the desire, we must be able to counteract that. We must be able to build this strength and resilience within our own mind to be able to say no. Train this no muscle and be able to refrain and abstain from certain things. And you know exactly what it is. The thing you must say no to. Deep down, the thing that's a bottleneck in your life. What is it? And are you ready? Can you commit? Can you fast from that thing? It's not going to be easy, but boy, it's rewarding. So I said I'm going to tell you my story of how when you decide to fast, of when you decide to take serious monumental action, there'll be friction points. So there was a period in my life when I was doing 1 meal a day, and I was starting to build a great tolerance for fasting. And so I started to experiment with longer fasts, longer durations. So we went to a 48-hour fast, and I think the longest was just under 72 hours. And my dearest beloved mother, the person who cares for you the most, from a place of care, was really trying to stop this, was really trying to not even understand, but outright stop the fasting. And it's because of her programming and her upbringing, she doesn't see the strength in being able to say no to food. From the outside looking in, it's you sleep less, you work hard, you go to the gym. You should eat food, son. For you to be healthy, son, you must eat. Now, there may be some validity to that statement, but understand this is a mental exercise. This is lifestyle design. This is creating a system, a code of conduct so strong that will follow you for the rest of your life. So if you expect this to be easy, then my friend, you're in for a ride. And in the beginning, you must be extreme. Now, I don't fast all the time nowadays. I just had a coffee. I'm fasted, and the time is, as of recording this, is 11 o'clock. I've been awake since 6 and I've not had a bite of food, but that's because through the repetitions, fasting's very easy for me. And through putting myself to the extreme, it makes it a lot easier to just manage a regular day's fast, skipping breakfast, having an intermittent fast, doing 1 meal a day. So from this lesson, I want you to understand that the people closest around you will provide friction, will provide feedback when not welcome, and it's your decision whether or not you allow that to affect you or if you ignore the noise. And number 2, you must experiment. You start small, incrementally, and you continue to build and iterate so that this system of fasting is so embedded in you that it's no longer a thought. It doesn't require any mental brain points from me to decide whether or not I'm fasting. And again, it's not just food. Fasting from what? Have I decided to enter a period of celibacy? Have I decided to enter a period with no music? And it's very easy for me to flick this switch because I know I have this ability. That's only been acquired through this experimentation period. Now, I need you to understand that fasting is war. It's a rebellion. It's you saying, I am stronger than my desires. So we are fighting, not to strive, but to strip. Remove what owns you so you can build on what strengthens you. How is it that fasting is so aligned with this idea of being a slave? I want you to think about the traditional slave and ask yourself, was that person well-fed or underfed? I want you to think about the lion, the hunter going out to seek food in the sub-Saharan desert. Is the dangerous lion well-fed or underfed? Now ask yourself, are you fed, well-fed or underfed? There's categories. Are you over-consuming or under-consuming? There is no middle ground. It's black and it's white. It's 0, it's 1. It's very binary. and ask yourself, which is the most optimal condition to be in when chasing success, when on this endeavor of greatness, when trying to fulfill man's purpose, to be a slave to God, to be purposeful, to give value, to provide value to the world and make impact. I would argue it's better to be underfed. I would argue it's better to be striving, working towards the goal with an element of lack. Now, we can have the abundance mindset and we can have high hopes and aspirations, but if you're not coming at this from a savage sense of view, if you're not coming at this from a point of absolute ferociousness and tenacity, then I don't think you have enough activation energy, because comfort is a silent killer. See, you indulging in the food and the Netflix, this life of comfortability, makes you just relax. I need you to feel a sense of urgency. I need you to feel ferociousness. I need you to feel this tenacity. And I think that's only acquired when you're underfed. And it doesn't need to be food. Like I said, it's underfed what? Underfed in entertainment, underfed in relationships and social time. You must starve yourself, fast from the things that are holding you back. Get used to fasting. You must get used to fasting. This concept of training the no muscle is step one in being able to reject comfort and command excellence. And that's what we do as slaves of God. And that's what we do as men who are no longer slaves to our desire. And that's what the Slave Man Protocol is built on. That's Protocol 1. I hope you boys enjoyed. We're going to pad out this whole series, breaking down all of the protocols we've got. If you haven't read my book, feel free to check out the links in the description. I've also got a membership program where I speak with the boys week in, week out. I've got 6 students as part of cohort 1, and I'll start accepting applicants for cohort 2. It's a 12-week program, 3 calls weekly. Mind, mission, body. If you're interested, check it out, man. I'll see you on the next one.